Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the Sullivan family. It is Friday. It is the day after our mammoth journey back to Scotland, or our journey around Cornwall, Scotland, Cornwall, Scotland. You catch my drift. We're back from being away. And currently my house looks like this. This is currently Toby's room, where we kind of we brought everything in last night, hung up all the coats, put all the shoes back, put all the food back in, we brought back with us. We didn't bring much back, but we did bring a bit, all that sort of stuff. But everything else kind of got left. So there is sort of washing out of, you can't even see it. There's a lot of washing. There is a lot of washing. And there is a lot of stuff to sort. The older ones have kind of done, are doing their own bags, obviously, and they've started on doing some of the other stuff, but there is a lot of stuff, a lot of washing to get through and a lot of stuff to sort out. The kids have gone in the garden because it is cold here today, very cold compared to Cornwall, but it's dry, so they have gone into the garden. So I thought I would just come on and just do a bit of a quick vlog. Just as a little bit of a roundup of Florence's bed. She went to Cornwall with 3 teddies and came back with about 12. Some of which were bought for her, some of which were given to her, and some of which we won in the claw machines in the arcades. She tried to sleep with them all last night. We were like, no, you can't sleep with all those teddies. But she's put them all back on there this morning. So we got back at about 3:30-ish yesterday afternoon. We wanted to move the cars around. That was the first thing we wanted to do, was to move the cars around. So obviously the vans are bigger, take up more space. So if we can get the vans outside the house, move the other 2 cars. But we moved Ben's car fine, fitted 1 van in. We couldn't move Lizzie's car at first because it wouldn't start. The battery was flat. Luckily, we jump started it and it was fine. But yeah, the brakes have gone a bit sticky, and because it's been sat for sort of 2 weeks, and little Terry did not want to start. But little Terry is fine now. I gave it a run to go and pick up the cat. It was fine. Hopefully this morning it will start again. So yeah, we got back 3:30-ish, unloaded all the vans. For some reason, you always bring back more than you went with, and it's always slightly less organised when you come back than it was when you went away. So we got all the stuff in, hung up everything that was there to be hung up. Isabel and Olivia started sorting things out straight away. And then obviously the kids needed feeding, so it was time for tea for them. Lucky we had stuff in the cupboards that they could eat. We didn't have any milk or much bread. We did bring some back with us. So once we had got them sorted, and kind of plugged all the stuff back in and all of those sorts of things, we got everybody showered. The kids were absolutely knackered yesterday. They've been up late most nights, up early in the mornings. Every day has been full with stuff. So they were really, really tired. None of them really slept on the way home yesterday. So they were absolutely shattered. We're all shattered. But, you know, we've fitted in so much while we were in Cornwall, which is exactly what we wanted to do. So they all went to bed at like 7 o'clock last night, and they all slept right the way through till 6 o'clock this morning. In fact, Florence was asleep for longer than that. It might have been 6:30 actually this morning. They all slept till, because Florence would have carried on sleeping if it hadn't been for the others waking her up. So they had a good sort of 11 and a half, 12 hours sleep, because they were absolutely shattered. They're still a bit tetchy, a bit emotional. Everybody is feeling a little bit emotional today. So we are just plodding through the day, getting through some bits and pieces. I've done 2 loads of washing already. Just starting to get things unpacked and just starting to get things sorted. Obviously I did washing before we left that on the area, so that was all dry. 2 weeks it was dry, it was fine. Charlotte had to go back to college today. Olivia had a driving lesson this morning. Nobody else is working till tomorrow, I don't think. So everybody does have the day. Oh, everybody else has the day today. Noah has been out straight up and out this morning to clean up the vans for us, which is brilliant. They did get me in on the way back. I mean, the insides we kept fairly clean, but the outsides, the salt on the roads from the snow, just absolutely minging. But there's not much you can, the roads were okay. It was beautiful. The road on the way up on Wednesday, when we travelled up from Cornwall to Carlisle, because there was weather warnings, and when we were leaving Cornwall it was kind of hailing a little bit and raining a little bit, and then the rest of the journey was sunshine, absolutely beautiful sunshine. So we were really lucky with the weather on the way up. The traffic around Manchester, Liverpool, that kind of area, the traffic around Birmingham but it always is a bit bad, but we got through that, and then we hit kind of Manchester, Liverpool, that sort of area, and oh my life, the traffic was 5 lanes nose to tail. It took us about an hour and a half to go maybe 40 miles. We were like 30 miles an hour, 40 miles an hour, 30, 40, 20, 10. There was roadworks. It was just, that, like I said to the kids, it adds an hour on your journey, but it's not just that, it's the concentration of all of that traffic, because you have most of the people drive as you drive sensibly, but you have the people that try and undercut you, the people that are driving too fast, the people that drive right up behind. You have the odd few drivers who just ruin it for the rest of us, put it that way. But we did then have to make a bit of a stop at Preston, because I needed to get out, Ben needed to get out, just needed to get another coffee, regroup, go to the toilet, because it had taken us much longer. So we got to Carlisle at I think it was about 8:30, so it was a good nearly 11 hours on the road. And we ended up getting a Burger King at 7:30 or something, which is extortionately priced, but nothing else was open, and there was no McDonald's on any of the services. So next time, I think Premier Inn actually do you can do a deal for $26.99 I think per adult, where you get breakfast and dinner. So I think next time we do it, we'll probably do that, because it would have worked out cheaper, because the kids eat for free. So we paid for 8 adult breakfasts, and the kids get, because they don't eat, they just pick at little bits, don't they? So it's actually a really much better deal. I think next time we do it, we would do that definitely, because then when you get to the Premier Inn, the ones that have got restaurants, obviously, you've got a meal sorted, haven't you? Rather than having to sort of stop at the services before you get there, or on the way down we went to the supermarket and got some bits. I think that's something we would definitely do next time. I think in general, we did pretty well. We've never done this journey before, ever. We've never travelled this far with the kids. When the older ones were small, we used to do North Wales to Cornwall, and Oxfordshire to Cornwall. But, that's like a 1-day journey. In fact, Oxfordshire to Cornwall, it makes it look simple now. One of the reasons we've not been back is because, apart from just general life, when Ben was in the RAF, he was away, and then we had the twins, and the years just ticked by without you even realising. But one of the reasons that's kind of got in our way is because it's too expensive to fly. And I honestly, up until about 6 months ago, I categorically said there is no way we could drive it. There's no way I could drive it. There's no way the kids would do the journey. We couldn't do it. So that was kind of a block that I had. And then obviously when, because my mum and dad used to come up quite a lot as well. And then obviously when my mum got much more poorly, and I was starting to think to myself, do you know what, maybe we could do this. Maybe we could do this journey. Maybe this is something that we could do. Maybe this is something that I could do, because ever since the twins have been born, I've spoken about this before, we did a lot of driving when they were in different separate hospitals. And somehow along that way, I got this block that I just couldn't drive far distances anymore. I would get tired when I was driving, and I would just it was almost like a panic attack every time I had to do a long distance driving, and I just couldn't get myself into the headspace to do it. So I just would just be like, I can't do it. And then, like I said, you know, obviously with everything that's been going on, I started to think, you know, maybe we could do this. The older ones are older now. They're brilliant. They're great, like passengers, talking to you, keep you talking, chatting about this, that and the other, you know, making sure you've got everything you need, buying the coffees along the way, all those sorts of things. And I started to think maybe this is something we could do. And then a few months ago, when we actually said, right, this is what we're going to do, when my mum was in hospital for like the second time, and I said, oh, we're going to Cornwall, we're going to drive it. And originally we were going to take our cars. That obviously went out the window, and I'm glad that we hired the vans that we did, because we had much more space and they were much more reliable for a long distance drive. Our cars, I mean, mine's not reliable at the moment because it's on the driveway with it needs fixing, but you know, our cars are reliable enough for going around and about here and there. But as a long distance drive, I'm glad we hired the vans, because like I said, we have much more space for everybody to spread out. I felt much safer in it, being up high. You know, I used to love our van, our Ford Tourneo that we had. I loved it, and I loved driving the one that we had. I had a Ford Tourneo again, but a newer one. I absolutely loved it. I loved it. I want one now. Absolutely loved it. Such a good vehicle to drive. Parking, slight issue. You forget that you can't fit into little parking spaces. But anyway, that's another story. But yeah, you know, I started to sort of say, maybe we could do this drive. And do you know what? I am so proud of us for doing it. I'm so proud of all of us for doing it. Not just for me and Ben doing the driving, not just for myself. And I am proud of myself. I'm proud of myself that I said to myself, do you know what? You can do this. You can do this. And yes, I was really nervous. But after I'd done the motorway driving, actually was probably the easiest part of it. Once you get used to it, and I was still nervous on the way back, which is the stupid thing, but that was probably because of the weather as well. But once you get going, it's absolutely fine. And I'm proud that I did it, because I spent so long saying, I can't do it, can't drive there, can't do that. And just this mental like block that I would have, this panic that I would have. And for just doing it, I've done it. I feel like it's opened up so many more opportunities for us, because I feel like now I can do these things. Now we've done the journey, I know we can do the journey, and we can do it again and again and again. And it feels a little bit silly almost to say that we've not done it because I didn't think we could. But, you know, these are the kind of the traumas that we carry, I guess, aren't they? And a lot of, I think, my issues around driving probably links back to when the twins were very poorly, and it's all trauma linked into one kind of thing. But I've kind of feel like I've got over that part of it, and it's not linked to that anymore, which I'm really, really glad about. Like I said, we did a lot of travelling when the twins, we had one in Aberdeen and one in Inverness, and I think we've never properly, you don't, when you have a premature baby, and I know some people get counselling and stuff like that, we didn't really, and I think maybe we should have done, because there's so many things that you go through when you have a premature baby in hospital, especially like we had twins. Erin was, well, they were both very sick, but Erin was very, very sick, and we had a family at home. We just got on with it. We got on with it because it was almost like we felt like we were expected to get on with everything. And I felt, because we had other children, that we were expected to know how to deal with everything. And I honestly don't think we did our best. And I look back now and I'm like, I don't know how we got through that period of time. We did, but I don't know how we did it. And it's almost like 10 years on, they're fine. They're doing great. You know, they're amazing. And you almost feel a little bit silly about, like, I don't quite know how to explain it. I'm sure that people that have been through this will know exactly what I mean. But you kind of almost feel a bit silly about going back, because you're like, well, they're fine now. So why do I need to look back at all that trauma? Because they're fine. They're, you know, they're doing great and they're brilliant. but there's this part that is locked away that you've never ever dealt with, and you almost feel like you shouldn't deal with it because they're fine, you know, it's gone, it's done. But that little bit of, it's all like, I feel like it's all in one. Everything that we went through at that time is all linked together in one ball. And part of that for me was the driving, because we were doing, and I'd got that, do you know what I mean? I'm sure if there's like a psychologist or anything, they would tell me exactly. But that was one part of that big ball linked in, like the hospital trauma, listening to like life support machines and stuff on programs. It all brings these things back, and driving was in with that because it was linked, because we did so much late night driving to go and see each of them. We'd go through to Aberdeen, then we'd go through into Inverness, and it was always rushing here, there and everywhere. And I think part of that was all linked in with that. And I feel now like that's one bit that's chipped away from that trauma. That's one bit of something that's chipped away from that trauma. And whether or not we ever properly deal with the rest of it, I don't know. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Maybe sometimes I think that I should probably work through some of it, and sometimes I think, do I need to? I don't know. There's a part of it, there's lots of things through your life that you lock away, that you don't deal with because they're not maybe relevant anymore, so you do lock it away. But anyway, that part of it, now I know we can do that drive. It's kind of opened up a whole new load of freedom for me. So how do we feel now we are back? There is a lot of washing to do. There's a lot of sorting out. Like I said earlier, we are going to spend the next probably week getting everything sorted. One thing I'm glad of is that I always rush around and clean the house before we leave. Try and make sure that everyone's beds are clean, the bathroom's clean. And I always think to myself, why do we do this? And the reason we do it is because when we walked back into the house last night, it was warm because we'd left the heating clicking on and off because the pipes will freeze if we don't. It was warm, it was clean. It might not be, you know, a show home like we've just stayed in, but our stuff is here. It was warm, it was clean. Everybody, you know, it's all your stuff is around you. And that's why you do it. But we have a lot of stuff to sort out. We have a lot of washing to do. We went shopping last night, and we bought like the necessities, but we were so tired going around the supermarket. Me and some of the older kids went, we were so tired. We were like, what do we need for breakfast, for lunch tomorrow? And the rest of it we'll deal with. So we picked up like breakfast and lunch and some bits and pieces like that. But it might well be a takeaway for tea, because I don't know if we've got enough to make a meal. We were so tired going around the supermarket last night. And then we came back and had pasta for tea. And we just all conked out, just all zonked. The kids went to bed. The older ones went to bed. Obviously, the younger ones were already in bed. And me and Ben were just like, 11:30, that's it. We're done. We're going to bed. So, yeah. I think everybody just feels... I mean, everybody feels a little bit... after a holiday. You always feel a little bit deflated after a holiday, don't you, when you come back and it's all kind of back to the norm, if you like. Kids have got to go back to work. But this time round for us is different. I think we've come back with a lot of things to think about. I think we have some decisions to make. And I don't want to make any knee-jerk decisions, because obviously the knee-jerk decision is to just pack up and move to Cornwall. I don't want to make any knee-jerk decisions because it's, you know, that's not what you want to do. These things need to be thought through properly. But having the kids, especially the little ones who've never met a lot of their family, and the older ones who've never met half of the people they met, and just watching them with their family, watching them just fit in like we've never not been there. It's kind of confirmed a few things to me. I think we moved away. Obviously, we had to move away through Ben being in the RAF, and we've lived away for a lot of years, and you do spend a lot of time convincing yourself that everything's fine. We can do it on our own. You know, it's fine. You live away from family, it's fine. But anybody who's lived away probably knows deep down that, and you even kind of convince yourself that, oh, it's fine, you know, we can see family every now and again, it's fine, you know, we don't need them run. But you know what? You do. And there comes a point in your life when you really realise how important all of that is. And not that you didn't realise it was important before, but like I said, you almost convince yourself that you can do it on your own, it's fine, just, you know, we just survive, and we do. Our family here, the 14 of us, we are a really good team. We are an amazing team, and I'm proud of every single one of us. And I'm proud of, one of the things I'm most proud of is so many people down in Cornwall, family, friends, commented and said how wonderful our kids are, how polite they are, how thoughtful they are, how lovely they are. And we know that. Yeah, we know that through and through. But to have everybody else say that as well, it's just brilliant, because they are brilliant, and they are lovely, and they are thoughtful, and they are kind. And for 2 weeks, we've been able to share that. We've been able to share them with everybody. And they've loved getting to know all their family. They've loved getting to know their cousins, spend time with their grandparents, but just spend time with family. And so have we. Absolutely loved it. Just having, and I know when you live around people, that's not always like that. I know that. I know everyone's got their own lives, and you know, all of that sort of thing. We've moved back before, and it's, you know, everybody is busy, but the difference is they're there. You know, my best friend was just, knowing that she was right there. It hits differently, really hits differently. And I'm trying really hard not to get emotional. Number one, because I can't even find my makeup this morning because it's somewhere in a bag. So I have no makeup on. I feel very emotional today. I feel like we have learnt so much about ourselves this trip, so much more about the kids. You know, we all have busy lives up here. The kids are here, there and everywhere. The older ones, you know, they're working, they're not, and not often. I comment quite often that, you know, getting everybody together for a day out is like a job in itself. But just having everybody there every day, just reconnecting properly, getting to spend time with the older ones and the younger ones properly, has been incredible. It's been amazing. And I'm so proud of them all. I'm so proud of all of them. You know, I'm so proud of them. And I know we get a lot of comments on here, and we get a lot of horrible comments. But do you know what? Those people will never be a tiny little bit as wonderful as my kids are, our kids are. Because they would never speak like that about people. You know, they would never. We have brought them up to be kind and helpful, and get me wrong, you know, we have our arguments, but they are incredible humans, and I am so proud of them. And just like I said, just being able to share all of that with the rest of our family and friends has been amazing. See, no makeup at all today, because it's in a suitcase. I don't know which one. So yeah, we have some thinking to do. Obviously, we have Christmas to do first. I am not prepared for Christmas one little bit. We had started buying things before we went away, but I am not prepared for Christmas at all. So I need to get into the Christmas spirit. I haven't done any Christmas cards, Christmas calendars, present buying, anything really. So I need to get into that. The kids have come back wanting to put the Christmas tree up and all that, and I'm like, we need to get the house sorted first, and then we can do those things. So yeah, like I said, being away has given us so much to think about. Just being able to pop and see my mum and dad, and for the kids as well, has been brilliant, especially with how my mum is. I would love to be able to be there to support them more. Which is really hard because, like I said, you know, we can't just pack up. Even if the decision was made to move to Cornwall, we can't just pack everything up and be there. You know, it takes a lot of planning. There's 14 people and 14 people's lives. It has to be a unanimous decision, and we have to think about it very carefully. But Cornwall will always be my home. It will always be my home. And you know, the stupid thing is, when we were young, growing up, I didn't see the beauty in what we had. You know, I moved away thinking, oh, it's Cornwall, you know, the bright lights of all the bright cities came calling for me, and I was like, that's much better than where, you know. And now it's totally different. Now, you know, as kids, you spend years trying to get away from places, and, you know, because you think there's better elsewhere, and, you know, and then now we want to try and get back. And I mean, yes, Cornwall's not the same place as it was years and years ago, but it has all my family. It has all our family. It has the kids' family. And we miss them already. I miss just knowing that they're just down the road, that I could just go and visit them whenever you want. And like I've said before, when we made the decision to move to Scotland, it was, you know, through the RAF, and I wanted the kids to grow up near the coast, and we've been able to do that. They've grown up near the coast, which was an important one for us. But now I think we all see what we're missing. Having that family link right there, we all see what we're missing. So yeah, everybody is feeling very emotional. Everybody is tired. There's a lot of washing to do. We have a lot of thinking to do. But you know what? Whatever decision we make, we will make together. And it's been a brilliant 2 weeks. It's just been brilliant. You know, we haven't been to lots of places, and we haven't been to a quarter of the places that I wanted to take the kids to, but we did spend a lot of time with family, and that was what came first. You know, we did go to Eden, we did go to St. Ives, we did go down to Penzance. There was many more places that I wanted to take the kids to show them around. But when it came down to it, it was a balance between spending time with the people that we love and going visiting places, and we all wanted to spend time with people instead, and that's exactly what we did. Obviously, the house, you have seen the house tour. The house was amazing, and it gave us a place that everyone could come to, and it's just been brilliant. It's just been brilliant. I feel a little bit, I don't know, I just feel a bit sad. But we have us together. We got us there safely. We got us there safely back. And we will, whatever decision we make, we will make together. Because where one of us goes, we all go. Everybody together. Because that's what we do. We we have a lot to sort out. Oh, by the way, we have the cat as well. The cat is fine. We picked him up last night. He's a little bit sad, but he's getting lots and lots of cuddles. That's the one part of going away that I really don't like, is having to leave the cat in the cat hotel, because he doesn't really like it, but it's the safest place that he can be, because I wouldn't want to leave him home on his own. Anyway, we did it. 700 miles there, 700 miles back, a lot of miles around Cornwall. We did it. We did it. I'm proud of us. I'm so proud of everybody. I have loved being around everybody for the last 2 weeks. I'm sad that everyone's going to have to go back to work and everyone's going to be split again, because that's what life does, isn't it? Because I've loved having everybody here, everybody there with me, and Ben, obviously. I count him as me, you know. So I'm a little bit sad that everyone's going off to do all their own things again, but that's what life is. Decisions will be made when we've got back to doing stuff, and Christmas preparations will begin soon. So anyway, I hope you have enjoyed following our journey to Cornwall. There is lots more to come. We will have lots more stuff with Christmas for one, and lots more decisions to be talked over and made. Thank you as always for everybody's support, and just thank you for everything. Don't forget to drop us a like, guys, and subscribe if you're not already, and spread the word. Tell everyone. Get everyone to subscribe. All the links to everything we do are in the video description below, and we will see you very soon in the next